I think it's evening or midday for you all on the East Coast. Morning for everybody that's central and over. Yeah, central and over. It is still morning. How's everybody? Queen Lee, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Thank you came over from Eric's show. Good morning to you, Cherie. Good morning, Samsia. Good morning. Everybody else who's here, let you all trickle in and so forth. I know there's a couple of other shows going on right now. Shout out to everybody who's been following us for a very long time on our journey. I did a test this week. I just wanted to see how a premiere would work, if it's something that I was interested in doing and so forth. See how that see how that pan out. I don't know. I got mixed vibes on it. Um it's still something you have to interact with anyway. You still need to be, interacting on it anyway. So while you're doing the live, so I don't know, hanging with Courtney in the morning. Um, you've been talking about me ever since. I don't know. I hope it's good things. I hope it's good things. I hope it's positive things. Look, like they say, I hope it's a vibe. I hope it's a vibe. Uh, I hope it's a vibe. I do want to start off with that. Again, there are some things I'll probably bring it up on the next show. Queen Lee, we got two shows we do on Saturdays. In case you didn't know, we do two shows. This one, Tech Stocks and Jobs, is mostly centered around tech stocks, investment opportunities, jobs, IPOs, what those jobs are looking for. I should say, companies are looking for, the technology behind them. Okay, make your money in tech and then go over and do other things. So I got a lot. Of course, everybody knows I always have a lot of information. um, got a lot of information today, some things that happened this week and so forth and whatnot. Did everybody see their portfolio gain this week? We've been losing for a while, but now we should be back up. We should be on the upswing. Um, is everybody investing into Amazon? Again, this is not financial advice. This is only my thoughts. I'm only sharing my thoughts. Is it anybody is anybody investing in Amazon with the 20-to-1 stock split? Yep. Anybody? Because you could dollar cost average in. We talked about this DCA. We talked about drip. I even did a little post in there, a little clip from one of the shows about what drip was, um, or what drip was, or what drip is, and what is that defined for the show. All right. All right. So it's a couple folks in here. Let's get going because every time we delay, I end up going over or whatnot. All right. So if you don't know who we are, we're Women in Linux. I'm Tamika or Tam, and D's in the background. Or this is Tech Stocks and Jobs. Or like I say, we talk about trades. We talk about annuities. We talk about money. We talk about stocks, investments, and so forth. Right. All right. So let's get into it. If you've never seen us on social media, you can find us on social media everywhere at womeninlinux.org. Oh, I did share my screen. Oh, hold on. That's why D hasn't switched. I'm like, why she ain't switched yet? You can find us on social media everywhere. Oh, my permissions changed. That's what it was. Hold on, D. My permissions changed. I gotta go back and do allow some screen recording. Hold on, D. Hold on. That's what happened. I was like, why? I know I clicked share. That's what happened. D, anybody ask you to be chiming in on the background? She talking about, and this why I have you share beforehand. This is the struggle stream. Did nobody ask you for all of that? We're not asking you for none of that. Okay? We didn't ask you none of that. Oh, it's under privacy. It's not circle stream. It's people in the chat. We cool. We just try to figure it out. That's all. Oh, let's see. Security and privacy. I tell you, why did they change my settings? It's okay me trying to figure it out, D. It's all right. We okay. She's messaging me in the background telling me I'm a struggle host. We doing struggle streams, you know. The second show, if D was paying attention to the uh if D was paying attention to the chat and not me, she could answer that for you, Queen Lee, but she's harassing me. Okay? Too busy harassing me. Don't harass me. All right, let's see if this works now. Oh yeah. Oh no, it still didn't like it. Let's go back. I clicked on that. Mm-hmm. Dion, this is called troubleshooting live on air. That's how we're gonna look at that. That's how we're gonna look at that. Don't be upset, D. It's okay. And Chrome is already checked, so I don't know why it's not allowing. Hold on, I'm gonna try to see if what happened. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, caps is on. Yep. My Chrome is allowing for screen recording. I don't know why I can't record, why I can't share my screen like that. Because it's already on. So I don't know why I lost permissions for that. Let me look and see again. Because it is allowing me to share. Yeah, it says Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. Follow the steps, and I followed the steps, and so I can't do it. So what I'm gonna do is next to the browser. Yep. Oh, I gotta quit and reopen. If the box is already checked, uncheck it and then check it again, and to see the message later. All right, go back. Mm-mm-mm. Let's go screen recording. We don't like it. There we go. Let's go back into it again. Oh, and by the way, did anyone catch the replay where I did the premiere and they were talking about Exxon? Oh, I gotta come back in. There, yeah, it's Chrome. I can't. It was already checked. I don't know why I say I lost permissions, but I lost all my links that I just had up. It is. It is. It is one. It is the bane of my existence. Now I lost all my content that I had this morning. I had 5 windows open and everything. We was gonna talk. We was gonna get into the money. He's gonna talk about all the wealth. I swear. Thanks, thanks, Chrome. I knew I couldn't do it without you. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. I still got links though. It still won't let me share, Dion. Even though I quit and came back, it won't let me share. So we just gonna have to talk through it. It won't let me share. All right. So what I was gonna discuss, because it's not letting me share, even though I quit and came back, it's not letting me share. So we're gonna talk through it. All right. So for this week, this is what we was gonna talk about. Yeah, you can share women in Linux. Go ahead. You just have to come into the stream, but it won't let me share. Thanks, Game Over, for looking up to me. We had love for you, D. No, we don't. D, if you're in the background, you can share. She talking about this is karma. I don't know what karma is that. I don't know what karma that is that I can't share. She talking about for talking trash. Hey, it is what it is. All right. Anyway, let me get into it. All right. So one of the things I did want to discuss this week was um the income limits on some of your traditional 401ks. Um, and I had to go look this up. And this is one of the things I did want to share on the screen was I was talking to an advisor yesterday, and he was saying that some of the income limits had changed on Dion. Yeah, you lost permissions as well. Thank you. Welcome to my world. Some of the things that they talked about was the traditional IRA. Was he was saying that they actually have a cap on it um of 10 million. Now I'm seeing conflicting stories on this, so I'm not sure. So I saw that they didn't have a cap on um on income limits, but then this new act that came out said that the cap was now 10 million. So traditional IRAs that came out in this new bill, and it said that the cap was 10 million. Um, Let me see, new bill, and I tell you what bill that was. The Bill Better Act. Now that came out in 2021. All right, and it says that the Bill Better Act. You said I'm going to be talking about that 10 minutes ago. Yeah. Uh, the Bill Better Act was it says restrictive retirement rules for the rich edge closer as the House passes a 1.75 billion dollar Biden plan. Now, in this plan, and I'm going to read to you what they say here. And I can drop the link backstage, and you all can follow along with this. Let me do that now. Let me drop the link, and then you all can follow along. Sorry, my screen. I can't share my screen, so it is what it is. So let me go. But we're not gonna stop the show because we can't share a screen. All right, so that's the link. D should be posting the link, and let me get back over here to it. All right, so it says in the Bill Better Act, it says with the individuals with 10 million, with more than 10 million in their retirement savings will have to draw down their accounts each year in a new type of required minimum distribution or RMD. Lawmakers also chose to close the backdoor Roth let me see, the backdoor Roth tax loopholes used largely by the rich and prohibit further individual retirement account contributions once those accounts exceed 10 million. The measures are aimed at curbing the use of 401k plans and IRAs as tax shelters for the wealthy, right? And so when I was reading this, I was like, okay, Well, what else did they include? They said, along with tax provisions aimed at corporations and households making more than 400K a year, uh, also raised revenue for universal pre-K, Medicare expansion, renewable energy credits, affordable housing, and a year of expanded child tax credits, and major Obama subsidies. All right. The retirement proposals were included in the tax house bill in September. However, the White House stripped out that tax plan. So let's get down here. It says for example, the initial legislation will have disallowed RA investments like private equity that require owners to be so-called accredited investors, a status tied to wealth and other factors. And some of the rules passed Friday will kick in years later than originally proposed. The legislation is subject to change, right? So what we're seeing, and I got to go back and look and see what that was 2021, and I need to go back and see, what happened with all of this as well too. Yeah, yeah, I don't believe they passed it yet, but again, yep, it would be the raise age to 72 instead of, yep, yep. So I don't know if they but that's what I was asking him. Did they pass it yet? Because I was like, I thought the income limits on IRAs was traditional IRAs was lifted. So that's what I thought, right? But I'm just giving you this information so you could be on the lookout and make sure you're following along with what's going on. All right, so let's see. Now it says, doo-doo-doo-doo. The formula is complex based on factors like account size and the type of account, pre-tax or Roth. Um, Here's the general premise: account holders must withdraw 50% of accounts valued at more than 10 million. Larger accounts must also draw down 100% of the Roth account size over 20 million. The distributions would be required for individuals whose incomes exceeds 400,000. So we've been seeing jobs that are paying $1 million, $2 million, 550,000, 750,000. It's saying now the threshold would be 450,000 for married tax filers filing jointly and 425 for heads of household. It said the provision would start after December the 31st of 2028. And that's on that link that D has, right? And then they go into what a backdoor Roth IRA is. And here's the one where it says IRA contribution limits. It says, however, the legislation will prohibit individuals from making more contributions to a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA if the total value of their combined retirement accounts exceed 10 million. Not just one account, but combined retirement accounts exceed 10 million. The provisions of this section are also effective for tax years beginning after December the 31st of 2028, right? They would have begun after December 31st in December 31st of 2021. All right. So that was that link, and I was getting into that link because then it got me to thinking like, okay, well, who's gonna draw down that kind of money? And then if you wanted to avoid that, what would you do? So I started looking more into different annuities, right? And everybody had their pros and cons on annuities. So, it is what it is when it comes to annuities. Let me try one more thing. Let me try Firefox. Hold on. Let me try Firefox real quick because I got links. Hold on. Let me try Firefox. Oh, D said Firefox won't work either. I guess because I'm sharing from Chrome. That sucks. Well, let me do this. Can I go out and come back in Chrome? I mean, come back in Firefox. Hold on, let me do some stuff. It says I need to allow some stuff. D stop. Let me do that. Let me switch over. I don't know what's going on with Chrome. I don't know why Chrome is acting like that. Even when you go out and come back in, it probably had to restart your whole entire computer. I wonder what changed. Okay, I'm in the background. Stop my mic. Leave, leave studio. Thank you. All right. So let's try this. Let's try Firefox. Let's see what Firefox gives us today. Let me see. Can we share our screen from Firefox? All right. Let's try that. Let's try to share my screen. Um do 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 do. Oh, select the screen. Well, how can I select? Mm, let me see. Oh, it's asking me to select the screen. Hold on. That one. Open up my preferences and allow it. Allow. All right, hold on, D. I'm trying to get my screen shares because I got more stuff to show because they're charts. Um, let me see. Screen sharing, screen recording. Uh, no, later. Oh yeah, you don't have to do that. Okay, and then later. All right. So now let's try this, D. All right. How about that? All right. Look at there. Just had to think about it. All right, cool. That worked. All right, now let's get busy. Let's go get my notes again. That worked. Jesus. And let me see. Income limits. Yep. Right here. So this is another one that I found. I don't know about that bill being passed yet. If somebody can double check that to see when that bill is supposed to be passed or what's going on with it, that'd be great. Let me minimize that. Let me go into this tab here. All right. Let me see. Can I move that? Yep. There we go. All right. So now here's now this says for 2021. I got this off of Charles Schwab. And let me make this a little bigger. All right. So let me know what that looks like for you all. Screen wise. That's big enough. All right. So it says here if you're single filing under 129,000 and 4,000 single and then joint, it says your maximum contributions. That's separately. It says maximum for under 50 is 6,000, and then maximum contribution individuals age 50 and older 7,000. Right. So they have what your max contributions are, and this is for Roth IRA contribution limits. Right. This is for 2022. And then up here, this is the IRA max contributions It's 6,000 if you're under 50, and 7,000 um, if you're 50 and older. And they also have the limits right here. Let's go back up here. It says your modified adjusted gross income must be under 140,000 for 2021 and under 144,000 for tax year 2022 to contribute to a Roth IRA if you're married and filing jointly. All right. And your maximum adjusted gross income must be under 208,000 for the tax year 2021, and then for the tax year 2022 is 214,000. So still you got some growth in there, even if our goal is to get to 200,000, so you still got that. And here is that was 22, and this was one for 2021. All right, cool. Now we can at least see some screens here. That's important. Now we just need to get back over to my screen so I can make my adjustments with my notes. All right, so all right. Eh, we could talk about this because it kind of gets into what I was looking at this week when it comes to annuities. Uh, what do you don't like? Oh, you don't like the plus sign. That's probably what that is. And oh yeah, that's not even copying over. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't copy it over. All right, let's go annuities for Mass Mutual. I don't know why I didn't copy it over. What is it not doing? What do you don't like? Applebee. I don't like my stuff. Interesting. Because I'm copying and pasting. There we go. Jesus. All right. Types of annuities and how they work. All right. So last week we was on Seeking Alpha and we were talking about annuities. And this is one of, if I don't know if you remember, the six different investment strategies, right? I don't know if you all remember that. All right. So let me pull that back up because there were six different investment strategies. And one of them was the three bucket system, and the other one was here we go. This is just one all right, this is just one website. All right, so here we go. We got they got them listed like this. This ain't what I wanted, but short-term investment strategies, long-term active investment, passive, high risk, and low risk, right? But the other one that we had for Seeking Alpha, let me pull that up. Talked about um, the insurance plan, the actual bucket strategy, the variable, and let me give you what those were. And that was on the link from last week. Investment strategies. Let me pull that up over here on my screen, other screen. Investment strategy. Yep, here we go, right here. All right, so those six investment strategies are that we talked about last week. The certainty strategy, the static strategy, the bucket strategy, the variable strategy, the dynamic strategy, and the insurance strategy. Annuities will fall under the insurance strategy because it would be insurance based, right? So they talk about in here there are different types of annuities, right? And a lot of people are against these. This is not advice. This is not investment advice. This is just different things that I've seen, right? All right, so there are different types of annuities. Some generally long-term contracts designed to accept payments, allow for potential tax-deferred growth, and then eventually distributed funds back to the owner. On the surface, it may sound like retirement plan, but while annuities share some things in common, they're not the same. They could be fixed or variable, immediate or deferred, depending on the contract option you select to meet your needs. All right. So here's some basic types. right? Buying an annuity basic types. There are several different types of annuity contracts you can buy, but they fall in three major categories: deferred fixed annuities, deferred variable annuities, and income annuities. And the reason why I brought this up is because I was looking at what we just saw. Like, we had, if that bill gets passed, you have to draw down your money and this, that, and that. And I'm thinking, okay, what if you, and we saw those limits, some of those limits and stuff with 400,000 or more, right? So I'm thinking like, well, what if you're pulling in 500,000 and up, and we saw the jobs, like I said before, from 1 million to 2 million. Well, what can they do to stash their money? Remember, you can only put in 20,500 into your 401k. You're gonna max out on your HSA at 3,600. Um, and I'm looking at it from a single individual level. I think it's 7,300 if you're married, right? And so, really, you're talking about what, 25,000 at the most that you're able to put away into something. Um, and then there's the IRA, because you can have a 401k and you can have an IRA. And then uh, there's no maximum on the type of, on your income that you can have, from what I'm seeing, right? So now the question becomes is, I think there's a limit on how much you can put in here. Where else do you put your money at, right? Um, so there's your options for stocks, there's your options for real estate, then there's options for um maybe investing into some REITs, or you may have a whole life policy, or you may do an annuity, or you have other investment uh sh- revenues that you can go into, right? So now it's a question of what's gonna provide you the type of gain you want with the least amount of risk, or you assume some risk but not a lot of risk. I hope all that makes sense. Type of one in the chat and let me know if that made sense or not. All right. So let me see. Yeah, this is not financial advice. That's correct. I don't know if you can open up more than one IRA. I don't know if you can or not. I don't see why you. I mean, I guess you could open up you can of course open up one in your business, but I'm not sure if you can open up one more IRA at one time. All right, so um deferred earned interest as an insurer set rate that may change over the course of the contract. This annuity type often provides a guaranteed minimum interest rate. They're designed for a more conservative approach to growing some of your assets while avoiding the effects of the market volatility, right? The deferred fixed index annuities also fall under the fixed annuity umbrella. They they credit interest differently than a traditional deferred fixed annuity. The interest that may be credited is tied in part to a specific market index, such as the Standard and Poor's 500, or the the S&P. They typically provide the potential for a higher interest rate than a deferred fixed annuity, but they also present the risk that the owner might receive zero interest in a given year. Then they got variable annuities. They're designed to provide market exposure. Their potential growth and your resulting payout depends on the market behavior. So we saw the market behavior this year, right? We saw the market behavior going up and down this year, right? So that's what that is, right? All right, so let's jump down here. Income annuities, right? Unlike the others, focus is not on accumulation, but rather on creating an income stream. They can be immediate, meaning their payout can start within 12 months after purchase, or they can be deferred, delaying the payments until a later date. For example, if you're near retirement and you have a lump sum of money you want to avoid spending all at once, an income annuity may help you manage your spending by spreading the money out into payments. Unlike other annuities, the income annuity, you would know the amount of guaranteed further income at the one time of purchase. And I got some videos on this that I want to actually share. I'll probably share them next week because I don't know what's going on with all the browsers. How an annuity pays out. Once your money is in an annuity, there are two general ways for getting the money back, depending on what is allowed by the type of contract you hold: withdrawal or annuitization. Withdrawals for contracts that allow them fall into systematic partial withdrawal, non-systematic partial withdrawal, or full withdrawal. Like you just taking everything out. Systematic partial withdrawal options let you tell the insurance company how you want to receive and how often you want to receive its withdrawals, um, or allowed under that contract. And then non-systematic partial, if allowed for your contract, let you pull down a portion of your annuity value to help meet short-term objectives. It's potentially useful if you need it, but partial withdrawals, systematic enough, may reduce your annuity's benefits, such as your death benefit, which you may pass on to a contract. So, drop in the chat, in the chat, drop 1 million in the chat if you all have taken out $1 million in life insurance, or cumulative of $1 million in life insurance. All right. All right. So let me see if they got anything else here. Should I buy an annuity? There are several things to consider if you're thinking about making a purchase or annuity beyond the basics outlined here. Typically, someone might consider purchasing an annuity after he or she is maxed out, or after he or she has maxed out, or his or her other tax advantage retirement 401ks or IRAs, because each annuity contract has different features, different terms, different requirements. The type of annuity you should buy. No 1 million yet. Be aware of the fees and the charges associated with variable annuities, and the risk. Now I went on a search, right? And I wanted to see how many wealthy people actually uh had annuities, right? Because I still haven't found all my information, but there's some information out there on the wealthy investing into annuities. And I was looking more for like a number. I didn't get a number. That's what I was looking for. All right, so let me get in here. Let me see if there's anything else that was related to that. Making sure I keep all the content together. All right. Oh, let me see. Here's one right here. Let me pull it up. This came from Yahoo. It's more on the 401k side. So this came out, yeah, 2022. This one came out March 16th. Let me see. That looks pretty big. Let me double verify what it looks like on screen. All right, that looks pretty big. All right. So the IRS reviews the limits on contributions to retirement plans, like 401k plans every year. Now this came out March 16th. Today's the 19th. Such is the case of tax year 22. However, there are possible greater changes in store for different type of retirement account in 2022, the so-called backdoor, right? Here's an overview of both the current proposed changes to these two type of retirement plans in 2022. For the tax year of 2022, workers can contribute the lesser of 100% of their salaries, 20,500 to a 401k plan. This is an increase from $1,000 in 2021. Workers ages 50 and over are allowed to contribute an additional amount to catch up. For tax year 2022, the catch-up contribution limit is 6,500. This means that workers 50 and older can kick in a maximum of 27,000 into their 401k. Now I talked about this on a match. Uh, oh, what is the number? So if you made it's only a certain number that an employer can match up to. Hold on, I have to remember that. Many employers offer to match a portion of your money you put into your 401k. The IRS doesn't control how much of a matching contribution an employer offers. However, there is a limit to the total amount of contributions that can be made by the employer, by both the employers and the employees. For tax year 2022, the total amount is 6100. I mean 61,000, up from 58,000. So for workers over 50 and older, the limit rises to 67,500 for tax year 2022, and up from 6,400. All right, so that was a limit on. There's an actual limit. I think the limit was 290, 290, meaning that oh, let me look it up. Income limit match 401k, I think it was 290k. I think that's what it was. Yeah, for 2021, the IRS limits the amount of compensation eligible for 401k contributions to 290,000. For 2022, the limit is 305. Not 304, but 305. I knew that was something. I just couldn't remember what it was. For yep. It's 305, right? I don't know. I think black people can get $1 million policies. I don't think it's too far fetched. Now, what the premium on it is, that may be something different. Right. But again, along with I'm also looking and expecting everybody to be at 200,000. So, forgive me for having ambition there. So, and forgive me for wanting people to get the $2 million job. That's what I'm looking at. Right. So I'm thinking, me this okay, let me give you my thought process. This is my thought process, right? Because I know around, in the streets, not just YouTube streets, but just people in general, right? We had this mindset like, well, let's think about everybody else and what everybody else is doing. And to me, that signifies, it's just my own personal beliefs. That signifies that no matter if you're making, uh say, $400,000 a year, right? I gotta always come back and think how this person in this group is thinking. Why can't it be that this group need to be thinking like that group over there, right? That's just my own thought process. Why can't we be looking at it from, hey, the $1 million perspective on how things should be looking, or how our portfolio should be looking. Maybe the problem is we are looking at it from the perspective of, hey, the $32,000 perspective, $45,000 perspective. Maybe we should be having the conversations of like, yeah, I know you're making that, but here's what you can be making, and here's what that affords you to. Oh, and by the way, here are the skills that you need to get there. And oh yeah, we already got some people over there, so let's start thinking this way, right? We're Versus we're always saying like, let's revert back and think about what the average person is already doing. It's just my thoughts. Well, that's what I talked about yesterday with the underwriters, right? So when I was talking to them about about $1 million policy, and I was asking about what does that look like from an underwriting perspective, right? I was like, is this all solely based on health? Is it all solely based on what you're doing? And from their perspective, and this is what was said to me. There's like they do this every single day. People get $1 million policies every day, and it's like they didn't see a problem. But I mean, hey, new territories. It is what it is. But again, we'll find out. right? We're gonna find out. That's just my thoughts. But back to what I was saying. So this part is important here. It says the IRS limits the amount of compensation eligible for 401k contributions to 290, and it went up to 305. So saying if you have a job, and I talked about this earlier this year. Let's click on that. All right. Yep. This is the site. All right. So it's saying here, uh, it's saying this is a fairly unknown rule. What 401k is a fairly unknown rule. It's the 401a 17 contribution limit that keeps many corporate professionals from maxing out their pre-tax contributions to their 401k. The rules set a maximum on how much an employee's compensation can be used to determine an employer's contribution or match on their employees' 401k and what other types of and many other types of retirement plans. The rule only allows super savers in 2022 to receive 401 contributions from their employers with considerations up to 305. So if you're making over 305, you don't get the match, right? Or I'm assuming. So that's what it sounds like. Once someone begins making 305, making over 305,000, an employer can no longer contribute on the employee's behalf to their company's 401k, right? So you lose out. So what do you put your money in next if you're over the $305,000 mark? And that's what I was talking about. That's why I was saying it. You have to expand your thought process on thought avenues on where you can invest your money in. And that's why we talk about being an accredited investor and being able to do investments. I actually sat in this week on some meetings in one of these meetings they were pitches as an accredited investor. You have 2 minutes to pitch your idea. The minimum that you could invest into this to these particular companies was $1,000. Um and they walk you through on approving you to become an accredited investor on their platform. But once you get the validation on their platform, you become an accredited investor. You don't have to renew it. I think he said for, I think it was 7 years. I have to go back and look at my email. But again, the ability to even sit in a room with other people that are, instead of you waiting for a company to pre-IPO on Robinhood, you're sitting down, you're looking at people that give them 2 minutes. You get to ask your questions on whatever it is that you may have questions about, what their future growth looks like, so forth and so on. And then from there you pick and choose whether you want to invest. So it was 8 companies, and you get to choose out of those 8 companies that you want to invest in, and you don't have to do it that day. I still have time. If I want other companies that I want to invest in, I can go the next 2 more days later and then invest in them. So yep. So now is so just keeping that in mind. Let's go back over here. It says, and story continues. The backdoor Roth IRA strategy is used by taxpayers to get money into a Roth IRA. So with the Roth IRA, you get taxed on the money that's going into the account. So it's automatically taxed going in. So when you withdraw from the account, that you've already paid on those tax. You already paid taxes on that money, right? So with the Roth IRA, even if they earn more, Then the IRS income limits, for example, in 2022, joint filers can't contribute to a Roth IRA if they have a modified adjust or MAGI, modified adjusted growth income of 214,000. For single filers, it's 144,000. The solution in both cases is the backdoor Roth IRA. The backdoor Roth IRA isn't a special type of account, but rather a strategy. While the IRS imposes income limits on tax deductible contributions to a traditional IRA, there is no such income limit that applies to after tax contributions, right? Thus, high income taxpayers can make after tax contributions to a traditional IRA and then convert that money into a Roth IRA. Even better, high income taxpayers can make after tax contributions to a 401k plan as long as their total contribution, including pre tax and employer matches, doesn't exceed the IRS limits. Then these funds can be converted into a Roth IRA. Converting money from an IRA to a 401k to a Roth IRA allows earnings on that money to be withdrawn tax free in retirement. If left in a traditional IRA or 401ks, those earnings will ultimately be taxable. This is why the backdoor Roth IRA strategy is such a benefit to high income taxpayers. What are the proposed changes? And this goes back to the first article that I was talking about, and I want to make sure we go through this. The backdoor Roth IRA strategy is still currently viable, but there may be changes at any time in 2022 under the provision of the Build Back Better bill, which passed the House of Representatives in 2021. The high income taxpayers would be prevented from making Roth conversions. Now I know some people that do this. The proposed income limits are 400,000 for single filers or 450 for joint filers. However, the bill has yet passed the Senate, and until it garners full congressional approval, Roth IRAs are still available. Now, some of y'all, I don't know, do some of y'all? I know some companies that I've been seeing, you get a choice of an IRA, I mean, or a 401k. You can do. I've Some of the stuff I've been seeing, you could do 401 or you could do a Roth 401. Or you say other things I might be may the other thing, it may not be a blessing not to be able to continue to contribute to your employer's 401 because those are pre-tax dollars and you don't have any idea what tax rates would be in the future. This is where marriage comes in as a bonus. Okay, well let's I don't know the rules, right? So is it marriage is the bonus, or can you be you and your spouse on paper be a union just on paper? I don't know. I've never considered. I always considered either you're married or you're not, but that's just me. So, an intentional millionaire, appreciate your $20 super chat. Right, and don't forget to get the lights up, and don't forget to subscribe. Right, so I don't know. Can you say, hey, I'm your man, you're my woman, I'm gonna share it with the whole wide world? Well, can you do that? I mean, on paper, and still be considered in a mm, file jointly for your 401k? I don't know. Let me know. I don't know. I never looked into it. All right. It says any type of legislation that is under debate is likely to change before it passes the Congress, if it ever does. However, there is immense presidential pressure to move the bill back, Build Back Better bill forward. It's likely to remain under active debate in 2022. The provisions of the bill may be watered down, or the idea to eliminate the backdoor Roth may drop entirely. But if you're a high income taxpayer looking to take advantage of the strategy, you might want to move sooner than later. Consult with a financial or tax advisor to ensure the strategy makes sense for you. Blah 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 blah. Right? So I wanted you to have that, because I've talked about this before on the limit on this, right? It's because Well, in our group, we want everybody at a minimum 200,000, right? That's what we're looking at. And so, but I think a Queen Lee was on the show the other day with Eric, and Eric was saying, and I agree with it. the- don't shoot the messenger, okay? that that 1 million is now the 1 million is now the new 100K, right? 1 million is now the new 100K. Don't don't shoot the messenger. They say when married, you can be divided between both individuals. Look up marriage penalty and bonus. All right, I have to look it up. Yeah, I know married can file separately, but what I'm asking is, say we don't get married, but we live in the same household, but the person can have we can have paperwork on each other. Um, can we at that point can we consider that jointly for our 401K, like, or IRA, whatever the case may be? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I never looked at it from that perspective, but hey, who am I? All right. So let's get back to this. All right. So I was looking this week as well, and I saw some things on notes, and I was like, I wonder if everybody know what notes are. What are notes? And then we're going to get into what I found. All right. What is a note? A note is a legal document that serves as an IOU from a borrower to a creditor or an investor. Notes have similar features to bonds, in which investors receive interest payments for holding the note and are repaid the original amount invested, called the principal, at a future date. Notes can obligate issuers to repay creditors the principal amount of the loan in addition to the interest payments of the predetermined date, right? Notes have various applications, including informal loan agreements between family members, safe haven investments, and complicated debt instruments issued by corporations. A note is a legal document representing a loan made from an issuer to a creditor or an investor. Notes entail that the payback of the principal amount loan, as well as the predetermined interest rates. The U.S. government issued treasury notes, T notes, to raise money to pay for infrastructure. And they kind of go in a little bit more in here about it, right? But let's look right here. Notes as investment vehicles. Okay. Okay. Hey, ethical grade, define marriage. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Define marriage. All right. All right. Sorry. So some notes are used for investment purposes, such as mortgage-backed notes, which is an asset-backed security. Now, last week we talked about assets. We talked about assets. Do you remember this? It was on Investopedia. And we talked about assets, right? To do assets. We talked about what is an asset. All right, let's jump down here. Types of assets, right? Current assets are short-term economic resources that are expected to converted into cash within a year. Fixed assets are long-term resources such as plants, equipment, and buildings. As an adjustment for aging, fixed asset is based on the periodic charges called depreciation. Financial assets represent investments in asset securities of other institutions. Intangible assets are economic resources that have no physical presence. They include patent, trademarks, copyrights, and goodwill. Accounting for intangible assets differs depending on the type of asset, and they can be either amortized or tested for impairment each year. Now we talked about this last week. Well, I'm saying in order to get your patents and your trademarks and your copyrights, there's a certain set of code or skill sets. I'll say skill sets that went into producing this code or idea that is going to be turned into a patent or a trademark. And I'm saying that your skill sets that you have or intangible assets, they don't pay right now, but they pay in the future. And we have to get used to that. When you say marriage has shed the traditional meaning, hey, I was just putting it out there. All right. So when we're looking at the notes, right? We're looking from a perspective of an asset, right? Oh, let's go back over here. Asset backed security. For example, mortgage loans can be bundled into a fund and sold as an investment called a mortgage backed security. Investors are paid interest payments based on the rates on the loans. Notes used as investments can have add-on features that enhance the return of a typical bond. Structured notes are essentially a bond but with an added derivative component, which is a financial contract that derives its value from an underlying asset, such as an equity index, right? And now we come down here, we talk about notes with a tax benefit, right? Some notes are purchased by investors for their income and tax benefits. Municipal notes, for example, are issued by the state and local governments and can be purchased by investors who want a fixed interest rate. Municipal notes are a way for governments to raise money to pay for infrastructure and construction projects, right? Notes as safe havens. Treasury notes, commonly referred to as T notes, are financial securities issued by the U.S. government. Treasury notes are popular investment for fixed income, but are also viewed as safe haven investment in times of economic and financial difficulties. T notes, right? So, Tamika, why are you telling us all about these notes, right? Let's go down here. Look, other types of notes: unsecured note, promissory note, convertible note, right? So, why are you telling us about this? Well, I'm telling you about this for a reason, and I'm probably gonna have to log in for this. So, hold on 1 second because I don't have this in my browser over here, but it might come up. It might come up. Let's see. It came up. Awesome. Mm, hold on. Let me sign in. Let me remember where this is at. This is on. I don't think it's on that one. Let me double check. Let me think about it for a second. It may be here. Yep, it may be there. Yep, it is. Okay, so this is what I saw this week. So here we go. West Banco prices 150 million subordinate notes offering. Their ticker symbol is WSBC. Priced a public offering of 150 million aggregate principal amount of its 3.75 fixed to floating rate subordinate notes due in 2032. Right, the price to the public for the notes is 100% of the principal amount of the notes. The notes will mature in 2032. The interest on the notes initially will accrue at a rate of 3.75% per, I guess per year from and including March 23rd, but excluding April the 1st of 2027, payable semi-annually in arrears. From from and including April 1st to 2027, from and including April 1st, 2027 to, but excluding April 1st of 2032 or earlier redemption date, interest will accrue at a floating rate per year equal to the benchmark, which is expected to be 3 months. And we'll have to look up the term I forget what SOFR is, plus a spread of 178.7 BPS payable quarterly arrears. The notes are intended to qualify as a two-tier capital for regulatory purposes. All right, it says the offering is expected to close March 23rd. A WSBC intends to use the net proceeds to for general corporate purposes, right? So then it goes into how to position your portfolio for this new reality, so forth and so on, right? But they talk about this as what do notes are. Is anybody invested in notes? And you D can I'll drop this link in the back, and D can do what D does with it, like, and you can read through that. And let me go look up SOFR real quick. On notes, SOFR, notes. Oops, not that. Let's see. All right, do they have this? All right. See. Okay, SOFR, secure overnight financing rate. That's what SOFR stands for. Secure overnight financing rate. So that's what they were talking about on here. Right here it says, which is expected to be 3-month term. So secure overnight financing rate. Plus a spread payable quarterly arrears, right? So I don't know if anyone's into notes. I found it interesting as another strategy when we're talking about investing as well too. Like there's stocks, there's bonds, there's index funds, um, notes, real estate, just looking at different ways that we can invest our money. And here's just another option. If you've never heard of notes, I looked at it, and for those that are joining us right now, I went on Investopedia to look at what defines a note. How do we define a note, right? And using notes as an investment vehicle. We probably should do some more information on this when we're talking about notes, so that y'all could be aware of what notes are, and look and be able to be I don't know, I don't want to say financially savvy, but to be able to explain what it is, understand if that's an option that you want to take as an investment strategy. All right, so that's that one. Let me go back over here. All right, so let's get into some crypto. And I got some crypto coming up. And you heard that Ukraine made crypto legal in their area, but here we go. Taiwan cryptocurrency platform Maycon Group reportedly mulling a U.S. IPO. They're gonna IPO in the U.S. Taiwanese cryptocurrency platform Maycon Group is reporting mulling holding an initial public offering on the Nasdaq within 2 years. So you may want to just look at Macon, just probably do some research on them. Uh, Macon operates Taiwan's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Plans to use proceeds from the deal to expand into Southeast Asia. The company has not yet made a decision about the IPO, according to Bloomberg. Bloomberg also said McCoin is the midst of completing a Series C funding round and could value the company at 400 million, right? So this just again, when we're looking at these, when we're looking at cryptocurrency, I look at the platforms as well too, because I look at the platforms and the cryptocurrency funds. There's a lot of cryptocurrency funds that are out there. They're being created, and they're getting millions of dollars, in some cases billions of dollars. when they're creating these funds. So just be on the lookout for these things, right? All right, so here we go. I think was that the only one? No, no, no. I was gonna go live this week with this one, but I didn't do it. All right, let's get over here. I think everybody saw this, right? Board 8, Yacht Club dropped an ApeCoin token to its first NFT holders. Some made tens of thousands of dollars in hours. Right, ApeCoin. Let me blow that up some. That looks a little small. All right, ApeCoin. Come on now. Let's look at that too. ApeCoin, a token linked to the famous Board Ape Yacht Club NFT project, just hit the market. And for many in the crypto community, the fear of missing out is strong. ApeCoin was airdropped this morning to basic NFT holders with an option to claim for free. After claiming, the investors could sell for a profit or hold. Those without a Baycoin or a Bay C NFT could get in on the action by buying ApeCoin upon its launch. Like with many airdrop tokens, the price of ApeCoin has fluctuated throughout the day. Earlier, the ApeCoin price was at $10.36, according to CoinGecko. Just a few hours later, it dropped to $6.21. It has leveled up around $8 and is trading at $7.69. This was March 17th, so 2 days ago, right? Now we talked about this too. Acorn also was released by a collective called Acorn DAO. Remember, I talked about DAOs. We talked about the DAOs in Wyoming, right? We talked about that, right? We talked about DAOs, right? Let's go back over here. Um, Though the DAO is separate from Yuga Labs, the creator of BAC, the company did adopt Apecoin as its primary token for BAC system ecosystem, as well as the future Yuga products and services. Right. So I don't know. Did anybody get Apecoin? Did anybody get a drop? Did y'all get an airdrop? How many of y'all put a one if you in if you into the NFTs? Put a one in the chat if you're into NFTs. Let me see. I know a Queen Lee should be. All right, so let's see. Making sure we got it. All right, we're gonna shift a little. Oh no, here go. Here's another one. I'm making sure that I get all the NFT stuff together. All right, CVS Pharmacy filed for NFT, blockchain, metaverse, and trademarks. Right on Monday, CVS, um, the largest pharmacy in the United States, filed for a trademark application for virtual goods, NFTs, and collectibles in sectors it typically sells. This include health, wellness, beauty, personal care, prescription drugs, amongst others. It's everything it would need for the metaverse health clinic, right? Peter Investor NOS, so all right, you're in it. All right. The application explicitly mentions blockchain and smart contracts and covers virtual goods, entertainment, digital artwork, and news and information. Shortly before the new year, a CBS biggest competitors, Walmart, registered 20 trademarks around blockchain, NFT tokens, cryptocurrency, and the metaverse. Which brings me to something else. Let me scroll down here. Let me get it back over here. Hold on. It also says the luxury company Hermes is known for its Birkin bags, but that didn't stop Mason Rothschild Oh, and I looked at a whole documentary on the Rothschilds, right? And how they became the Rothschilds from Germany and what their name means and where it came from. I got a whole I got a whole thing on that and followed the money. I mean, man, w- I won't I haven't finished writing it yet. And I haven't finished writing it yet. I haven't finished writing it yet. But we'll get back to that. All right, with launching the Meta Birkin NFTs virtual handbags, Hermes filed for a lawsuit. Rothschild may stumble because the shape of the bag is somewhat similar to Birkin's. However, Hermes only owns trademarks for the physical bag. It previously had trademark covering electronic images, but that was canceled owing to the lack of evidence of continued use. The case is ongoing. All right. It says CBS already involved in the blockchain outside of the metaverse and NFTs is a is a participant in trials with a DID, Decentralized Identity Alliance, and is Aetna's healthcare insurance division joined two enterprise blockchain health consortiums. The Synaptic Healthcare, the Health Alliance, aims to synchronize care providers' directories, and IBM created another consortium. I keep telling y'all, don't sleep on IBM. Focus on blockchain for claims processing and health data exchanges. So when you look at these things, I hope y'all are looking at this from not just an investment strategy, but from a job perspective and a security perspective. Like, who's going to secure the blockchain? Who's going to secure the transactions? Because there has to be some type of compliance in place and so forth. There's have to be some standards to be met, and so people who are helping to meet those compliance standards, who help to make sure they're following what they're supposed to be doing, that's gonna come out as well too, right? Just want you to know that. Peter Investor M, thank you so much for your super chat. We appreciate you. Right. But when we look at this, we have to look at it from that perspective, right? We have to look at it from that perspective. Not just looking at it just from an investment perspective, but everybody always talking about, well, what should I send my kids into? What should I put my kids in? Here you go. Think outside the box. Who's going to help make sure that they meet these compliance rules? Go look at what look IBM created a consortium. What is the DID Alliance? What is the Synaptic Health Alliance? What's under that? Who created that? Why did they come up with it? What rules do they need to follow? What rules do the alliance need to follow? What rules did the alliance create that people must when they join they must follow? What is written up in that alliance? What are they achieving? Right? These are things to be looking at. These are things that you got to think about. It's somebody. It's a group of people or a group of companies that get together and they're coming up with some rules and some regulations and things to adhere by. Things that, hey, we say we're part of this alliance, so we're gonna share information with you. What does that share look like? These are things you have to think about and think outside of the box, right? All right, so the one, well, it was something I was getting ready to go down a rabbit hole on. See, not that one. Oh, I know what I was doing. Let me go into let me go into Slack. And in Slack, I posted um this thing. I think I posted it in general. I don't know if anybody paid attention to it. It was yep, this. Hold on. I got my headphones on, but let me let me get it over to the other screen. All right, so because AWS just dropped some training in the metaverse. Hold on, let me take my headphones off. Can y'all hear me now? All right, so let's hit it. It's not even playing the volume. Oh, here we
Welcome to AWS Cloud Quest Cloud Practitioner, the newest way to build your AWS skills. Cloud Quest is an open world role playing game that teaches you how to build real AWS solutions using cloud concepts and exercises. As a cloud practitioner, you'll venture on a journey to help the citizens in town transform their city by using cloud solutions. You can take your technical training to the next level by turning business problems into technical solutions through puzzles, simulations, and hands-on labs. As a foundational building block for skill building and career development, CloudQuest gives you control of your learning journey at your own pace. With tons of customizations, unique assignments, and game modes, CloudQuest is a continuous learning experience. You can earn rewards to unlock various character styles, pet companions, city themes, and vehicles. Dive into the world of AWS and embark on the quest.
So entering into the metaverse as a learning platform is where we're talking about, right? And we're gonna see, and this is something I talked about a while ago. I wanted to create a Linux learning platform where you could go for women in Linux. You can go and learn DevSecOps. What does that look like, and how to build it out? I talked about this months ago, right? But now you're going to start seeing, and this is something. It was a platform that gamified this years ago on you would get on teams, and you would get on these teams, and you would conquer building things out on a team. It was a gamified platform for learning uh, distributed computing, engineering, and so forth. And I don't know whatever happened to them. I was a part of it, and then I just don't remember the name of it, so I can't go back and look it up. But I was a part of it, and I was like, man, I was like, I've always said this. There's never been a unique way to say, hey, I do this kind of work every single day. People, like, back in the day, you could shadow a person for a day. Hey, I work at a plant, and you could take somebody in, and you could see what they did every day to see if you wanted to do that. But it's not really a way in tech to say, I'm a data engineer. Here's what I do every day, and you could be a data engineer too. So gamifying and creating things inside the metaverse is going to be huge, as we continue to go on. That's going to really change how we view things, and then earning on the platform as well too, right? Earning gems and so forth on the platform. So the way we look at stuff now is changing. So and the way we're receiving information is changing. Um, well, blockchain's been around since '91. You know, you know, people are like blockchain not going out. Blockchain has been out since 1991. It came out the same years as Linux did. So it's not the fact that it's not going anywhere. It's just people are finding more, just finding better ways to utilize it as well. And it's the same thing with quantum computing, right? Is the ability uh, to do in not the Jada Pinkett thing, entanglements, right? Entanglements. That is a thing in quantum computing. It's not a new word, right? Um, he says, but NFT and cryptocurrencies are volatile and subject to change. Depends on your risk and appetite. Of course, all right. It's the same way with stocks. It depends on your risk. It's the same way with real estate. Depends on your risk, right? It says, what would the Rockefellers do by? No, I haven't read that one. Mm-mm, I haven't read that one. I think I seen that. I think there's a video clip out of something similar to that. All right, let's get into. After this, we're gonna get into some stocks and some jobs. Let me see. I'm making sure I cover everything. Yep, 401k limits. Yep, yep. All right. I wanted to make sure y'all had that. All right, here we go. All right. A million new millionaires were created in the U.S. last year, and the richest got richer. The report says, right? The roaring, and this came out March 17th. March 17th. All right. The roaring stock market and the crypto gains created more than a million new millionaires in the U.S., according to U.S. reports. The number of Americans with 1 million or more in investable assets surged to 14.6 million in 2021, according to a report from wealth research, the Spectrum Group. The wealthiest Americans got richer too. They were able to afford to make a higher risk investments that turned into strong returns. Right? The number of Americans with 1 million or more in investable assets surged to a record of 14.6 million in 2021. Now, I did a show probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago that said that 80% of the millionaires are white males. So we can probably still assume that was a report from 2021. Uh, it might have been 2020. But we probably can assume it's probably still 80%, right? All right. And it says, and that's up from 13.3 million in 2020, in 2020. All right, the growth rate of over 10% was the strongest in years, boosted by trillions of dollars in wealth created by the stock market, crypto, and other assets. All right, the wealth surge was the strongest at the top. The number of Americans with worth 25 million or more surged by 18%. Now I talked about this about at people who had assets of 10 million or more. It was not a lot. I think it was something like 340,000. Let me look that up. People with 10 million or more net or 10 million net worth, no more net worth. Let me see. I think it was something. Not a lot. The millionaire next door. Best way is 10 million. Become a decamillion. Grow your work. Um, see, that's 2021. All right. The points of five. A pentamillionaire is a 5 million net worth, and a decamillionaire is those who net worth is 10 million to any other blah blah blah. 1%. Blah blah. Know where you stand. All right, to get to the top 1% of North America, you need to have roughly 10 million. If you want to know where your wealth letter stands, just that another. You see, it had a number. It wasn't a lot. I think it was something like 340,000. I don't think it was a lot. Let's see, and I'll come back to it. I know I want to move on. That's what you want. 10 million. See, 28 million statistics more. Okay, here we go. This is 2020. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. All right, here it is. Okay, in millionaire stats, um, 2.2 million, 2.25 million from 2019 to 2020. So we got 2.27 million, 788 billionaires in the United States. 323 millionaire households in New Jersey. 76% of the U.S. millionaires are white. Yep, yep. Um, right here, 44% of the U.S. based millennial millionaires live in uh, California. Millennial millionaires own an average of three properties with a real estate portfolio of 1.4 million. 43% of the world's wealth is controlled by the 1%. Blah blah blah. How many years are there? What's the inherited wealth? Multimillionaires. How many people are worth 10 million. Oh, here it is. We found that there's an estimated 1.4 or 1.5 households with a net worth of 10 million. So 1.5. And it says about 8 million households have a net worth of 2 million, covering about 6.2%, and then 5.6 million with a net worth of 3 million. How many multimillionaires have a net of 50 million or more? 89,000 people in the US have a net excess of 50 million, right? And the billionaires we saw that at 788. How many millionaires are in Congress? 229. 229. What is the average age of a millionaire? And I went over this before. The average age of U.S. millionaires is 62. About 38% of the millionaires are over 35, and 1% are below 35 on the West Coast are slightly older. And this, we only make a, I think we only make up like 8% or 2% or something like that. 76% of the U.S. millionaires are white or Caucasian. Black and Asian millionaires each accounted for 8%. Hispanics accounted for 7%. And there's a new one that came out about that 8%. All right. This I went over this a couple of weeks ago. All right. So back over here. All right. So it says here there are 252 Americans worth 25 million or more, up from 214. By contrast, the number of so-called mass affluent investors are worth between 100,000 and 1 million grew by 2%. Right? Let's see. All right, crypto and other assets such as NFTs, collectible real estate also gain value, added to the wealth. The top market cap of crypto is assets, despite wild swings in prices, gained 1.5 trillion last year and 2.3 trillion according to CoinGecko. All right, I'm just looking through. All right, so that's what at. That's where we're at when we're talking about what happened, and we can see the difference in this link here, right here. What happened from then until now for 2022. Who's amassed the millions? Let's see what he's saying. How many DACA millions are there in the U.S.? Yep. Yeah, and I did that. I had that link last week about the black household. Um, I'll re-pull that up real quickly. Um, that came from, and this is just something that we just need to just kind of like, I don't want to say grin and bear it. I just want to say this is just where we're at in life. All right, let me pull that back up. It was episode 56. It might have been on 55, but let me double check. Yeah, right here. This right here. Let's go right here from last week. We didn't do the recap. We got kind of distracted. All right, so let me load it up so you can see what I'm talking about. You can read it with me. All right, right here. Overall, the report reveals that black households have 1/8 of the wealth of median white households. When you break down the numbers, the inequities are even more depressing. An estimated 7.8 million black families have a net worth of less than 10,000, and approximately 3.5 families have a negative net worth due to the overwhelming burden of debt. Right? It says here more black families are aiming for 1 million in net worth. Although the wealth stats are startling for black families, there are a growing number of individuals who are moving closer to those financial goals. They go on to talk about that. That I want to say there was 340,000 uh, black families with a net worth over 1 million. Let me see. Let's see if it comes up on here. It may be on another report that I'm reading from. Let me look it up real quick. Can I do control F on here? Oh, I'm not seeing it pop up. It may be blocked, but whatever. Let me look. Maybe another one here. Maybe it may be on this one. And this is from Financial Samurai. Maybe on this one. Well, we talked about it here. According to the average net worth of African Americans is 19,000. We talked about that. Right. Average income for African Americans 40,000, 45,000, and 56,000 for Hispanics. We talked about that. I was looking for the one where it came up with the million. I think it's only 340 families with a net worth of 1 million or more throughout the United States. Not just one particular section, but throughout the United States. That's just where we're at. That's just where we're at. Right? That's just where we're at. I don't think it's on this one. Let me look. 340. Yeah, it's not letting me do that on there. Type of 3, 4. Here we go, right here. An estimated, right here, an estimated 2% of black households, roughly 340,000 families, have a net worth over $1 million. Now, I don't know what that means for families. Is families in, is families, uh, um, husband and wife, or is that you, your mom, and them? I mean, I don't know how we categorizing families, but either way it go, according to the Economic State Black America report, right? And I pulled down that report the other week. Yeah, whatever. And we went through this report here, where they talked about everything right here. And D can give y'all these numbers. But it says black workers are concentrated in lower paying occupations and underrepresented in higher paying ones. And you can look here. I don't know, it may be a little small for you. Let me blow that up. So this right here is the median wage right here. When we start getting past 100,000, 150, it just don't even it stop at 200,000. Like we don't even make over 200,000, right? That little circle, that little dot right there, it says median wage in this particular location is, or this particular area of the map, is 188,000. It represents 3.63% of the total population of blacks. And it says the number of black workers is 1,441. That's what it says. Those are the numbers. All right. So it's only like 1,500 of us in this $188,000 range. And it says it don't even have nothing after 200. And I'm showing you jobs that are paying 550 1,750,000. Right. D can share that the link for the NFT. She can share that link. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. I got 5 more minutes. Let's go. Let me go back to my stuff. All right. So this company I was supposed to talk about 2 weeks ago as an investment strategy. Roofstock. Why buy and sell through Roofstock? Build wealth through real estate. I showed you Arrived Homes, and now we're looking at Roofstock. Arrived Homes lets you invest into rentals. Roofstock, they do, they buy properties, sell properties. Similar to, I guess, Open Door or whatnot. But you can invest into them, right? So you can come here, do short term rentals. You can bring your own property, and then here they got a list of properties. They'll probably try to make me sign up. Oh, cool. They don't try to make me sign up. Right? They got the cap rates here, 7.7%. This one got a 10% cap rate right here. But his neighborhood rating got a 3. It's in Chicago. So yeah, it's gonna make me sign up. So we won't click on that because I gotta sign up if I do. All right. But you can look at the cap rate. You can look and see what the annual returns are: 10%, 13%, 14%. It's just another way to invest. Do your own research on it. And they have jobs. So let's, oh, my LinkedIn probably ain't gonna show up over here. Let me see. Oh, cool. Showed up. So Roofstock is looking for a director of engineering. Um, let's go back up. This was posted 2 weeks ago. Um, be customer obsessed, act like an owner because you are. Don't be afraid to break things in pursuit of better. All of us are empowered to do the right thing. Stay curious and create what's next fast. Seriously, no jerks. As a director of engineering platform, you will lead teams to build and scale Roofstock's platform. To be successful, you should have exceptional leadership, communication, and project management skills. Right? What would you do? You're going to provide technical leadership, mentorship, and guidance. You're going to coach individuals. You're going to recruit. You're going to engage. You're going to retain. You're going to communicate and align plans and dependencies. Who are you? Your 10 years of software development experience in the SaaS or fintech area, 4 years of managing engineering teams, uh, proven proven recruiting experience as hiring managers, analytical mindset, and so forth. A passion for real estate, right? And this is what Roofstock, right? So as you can see here, I did a search on just stocks, right? But I wanted to show um, using different keywords how you can find one companies and two jobs, right? That's just based on just to type in a word of stocks, right? And you can see the different companies that actually come up, right? Equity research analyst for Bank of America, a trader, trading operations specialist, and we talked about a quant developer last week. What does that look like? That job was paying 2 million, right? All right, so next company up, and I got this is my last one because Dia be dinging me in the back. Ting. All right, Silence Holding, a majority-owned subsidiary of Sorrento Therapeutics, to become publicly traded through a merger with Vickers Vantage Corporation. That may look a little small. It looks a little big on there. Combined company expected pro forma equity value post money of 1.64 billion, subject to a potential adjustment with up to 140 million in expected proceeds before expenses. Their ticker symbol will be SCLX. SCLX is their ticker symbol. So let's go look at Silex Holding Company. All right, here's their careers. Right now, they got an accounts receivable and a territory manager. Let's look at their news and their portfolio, or their partners. I mean, we're just looking to see what announcements they had. Um, let's look at their partners. So these are the people that they're partnered with, right? They're decided to develop and commercialize innovative pain management solutions to help improve patient care. Learn about more what Silex is doing. And they're set to IPO and they're worth 1.4 billion. And let me check. Let me look. Let me look. I think I covered everything except for one link, and that one's we can do that next week. We can do that next week. Let me double check. Cause they were like, don't bring this over there to the next show. Get it together. All right. Apex GN and Brookline Capital Acquisition Corporation announced a business combination agreement to create a publicly listed immunology company. It says healthcare institution investors and insiders commit to 50 million through private investment in a public equity or pipe. Liquid Capital has committed to 50 million proceeds to advanced phases of 2 million. Let's see if they got their ticker symbol is APGN is their ticker symbol. Let me see. And it says the purchase price of the stock unit will be $10. Combined at closing will be approximately 73 million. All right. And if you're into like therapeutics and so forth, one way is to invest, catch the wave, ride it up, or you could look at ETFs. And I talked about last week some new ETFs that came out, 9 new ETFs that came out. And we'll go over again next week. So we ran out of our time for this show. We're gonna hit it up. Yeah, we know about the Robert Smith as well too. There's a couple of other ones. I think there's a total of for black billionaires. I think there's U.S. black billionaires. I think there's 7 or 11 for the U.S. All right. Until next week, I'll catch you all. Well, for Tech Stocks and Jobs, I catch you all next week. For our next show, which starts in 30 minutes, I catch you in 30 minutes for our next show. Hopefully, we won't have the same problems. All right. Until then, I'll see you later.